Isn't winning just more fun?
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into this, the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you making Locked On Hoosiers your first listen each and every day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. We appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being an everydayer on the program. That means you're here every single day, Monday through Friday, and of course on bonus episodes here of Locked On Hoosiers. If you're on the YouTube channel, you can subscribe on there. It's free. Become a part of this wonderful community. Helps us grow, helps us just get out there a little bit more. So make sure you do that. Like the video if you're on YouTube as well. And if you're on any of your audio platforms, we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. So be sure you subscribe on there. Turn on notifications across the board so you never miss an episode just like this one of the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. Isn't winning just more fun? Indiana takes down Minnesota 74-62 inside of Assembly Hall. We're going to break it all down here on this bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers. And this was an exciting game. This was a fun game. This was a game where we just didn't want to rip our hair out for 40 minutes anyway, right? The back end of the second half wasn't as exciting. Got a little sketchy there near the end. But overall, it was a nice win. Indiana takes down Minnesota 74-62. Let's look at some of the individual numbers. We'll then get into some of the team numbers. We'll get into likes and dislikes. And really, the thing that stood apart was the defense. And we'll talk about that in this show as well. Indiana wins 74-62 on a Friday night inside of Assembly Hall. And you look at the starters for Indiana. It was, how about this? How about 4 of your players were in double figures tonight for Indiana? And your leading scorer was Mackenzie Mgbako, 19 points, 6 of 12 from the floor, 2 of 4 from downtown, 5 of 7 from the free throw line. We'll get to that in just a second. 4 total rebounds. I'd like to see that be a little bit higher. 2 assists, almost fouled out, had just 1 turnover in 34 minutes played. Played more than anybody and scored more than anybody. So that's always something to see. Probably the best game so far for Mackenzie Mgbako when he's got Indiana across his chest. Really good to see that from him. The confidence is there. His defense was a lot better tonight. We'll get to the team defense later on in the show, but his defense and closeouts on shooters was a heck of a lot better. And I hope this is a continued trend for Mackenzie Mgbako, who, again, he was having fun, just like the team was. And winning is fun, man. When you're playing good, you're having a lot more fun. And I think Mackenzie Mgbako was doing that, and a lot more confidence in the freshman as well. Kel'el Ware had 17 points on 6 of 11 shooting, 2 of 2 from behind the arc, which is kind of crazy. 3 of 5 from the free throw line. Not terrible, not great. 14 rebounds. How about that? Coming off of 17 rebounds, he backs it up with 14. Kel'el Ware is just a mop when it comes to cleaning up the boards. He had 2 assists, couple of turnovers, so not bad for Kel'el Ware. Malik Reneau at 16 on 7 of 15 shooting, 2 of 5 from the line. That's got to be better. 6 boards, 3 assists for him as well. And then somehow, some way, Trey Galloway had 10 points, 4 of 5 shooting, 2 of 3 from downtown, 0 of 2 from the free throw line, and 2 of the ugliest free throw attempts you'll ever see. Had 3 rebounds, 7 assists. That's my favorite number from him. If you can get 10 points and 7 assists from Trey Galloway, that's perfect. That's all we need. That tells me he accounted for at least 24 points tonight, because 7 times 2 at least for a field goal would get you 14, plus his 10 would give you 24. See, I can do math every now and then. So Trey Galloway, he didn't blow me away in this game, and there were times where I was like, man, I've got some things I need to say, but I can't complain about 10 points and 7 assists and 4 or 5 shooting. You won't see me complain about that whatsoever in 25 minutes. Your other starter was Gabe Cupps. He started in the place of Xavier Johnson, who, of course, was kicked out in the last game. And Mike Woodson said, yeah, not so fast. we're going to start Gabe Cupps, who played 30 minutes compared to Xavier Johnson's 17. And look, man, Gabe Cupps got a huge roar when he was introduced. He got a huge roar in the game. He plays solid minutes, and he's a nice effort guy. He is a liability on offense. I'm sorry. He's a liability, folks. 0 points, 0 of 5 from the floor, 0 of 1 from deep, 0 of 1 from the free throw line. Had 4 rebounds, 1 assist. He also had a turnover. Like, I like the kid, and I think he's going to be good eventually down the road. But again, I say this all the time about him. He's not going to hurt you, but he's not going to help you win. And he's just kind of out there. Compared to what Xavier Johnson did tonight, which was not a whole lot. 2 points, didn't make a free throw or didn't make a field goal, made both of his points from the charity stripe, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 turnovers in 17 minutes played. Only other real production you got from the bench was Anthony Walker, who had 9 points on 3 of 7 shooting, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, had an assist as well. You'll take that from Anthony Walker in 16 minutes played? Absolutely. You'll take that any day of the week from Anthony Walker. So overall, not a bad individual performance. And I think this team was a lot more confident. I think they were having fun, better communication. We talked about that in the preview show. And I want to continue talking about this. Likes and dislikes. My biggest like as we get into the next segment here in just a second, the defense was much improved. I mean, like a completely different team for this Indiana squad. Totally different effort, totally different mindset for this team. I love seeing Kel'el Ware, Malik Reneau, and Mackenzie Mgbako be just about even when it comes to scoring. We've talked about how they can't do it all, but they basically did tonight. And they got some help from Trey Galloway and got a little help from Anthony Walker as well. Indiana wins 74-62. We'll talk about that defense coming up. We'll give you some more likes and dislikes here coming up in just a second on Locked On Hoosiers. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Game Time. Look, you shouldn't have to worry about buying tickets when you're going to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Some of my favorite parts of Game Time, you get the views from your seat so you know exactly where you're going to be, what your view will be before you buy, their lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, and their job loss protection. So if you buy those tickets and something bad happens in your life and you can't go, Game Time's got you covered. That's my favorite part about the Game Time app. It's the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. You can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. And you can buy tickets in seconds with just 2 taps. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is also brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL regular season is wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. If you're watching this on Friday night or Saturday morning, you still have time to get in on those playoff games coming up today, or even some playoff games coming up tomorrow on Sunday. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Doesn't matter. Put money in there, place a $5 bet, and FanDuel is going to give you $150 in bonus bets. You've got to take advantage of that. The app is easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, making parlays in the Parlay Hub, going to the Explore tab to find new bets. Also, making same-game parlays live as the game happens. That's what you can do on the FanDuel app. So visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn and make your first bet a layup. You got to use the code LOCKEDON. That's going to give you the good stuff, okay? FanDuel.com/LockedOn. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Welcome back into Locked On Hoosiers. I appreciate you making this your first listen each and every day. Our subscriber count continues to climb on YouTube, so be sure that you are subscribing on there. Make sure you like the video, turn on notifications wherever you get us, because we're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. So you don't want to miss, especially bonus episodes like this, reacting to big games, especially when Indiana gets a nice win, and that's what they did as they take down the Minnesota Golden Gophers 74-62. Mike Woodson does, in fact, get that fourth straight win over Minnesota in his Indiana career. And not all of that, but most of that has to be given to the defense, okay? The defense in this game by Indiana was maybe their best yet of the season, right? I think this can be described as one of the better performances all season long for Indiana defensively. And just when you look at the yearly totals giving up points, right? So they gave up 62 points in this game. They gave up 63 in the opener, 64 against Army. Let's see. I mean, we're looking at possibly one of the best of the year. Maryland was only 53. I forgot about that game. But other than that, this is the second lowest scoring total of the season that this team has given up, that the opposing team has been able to score. Let me say that again. The second lowest total that Indiana has given up all season long. And this was in a Big Ten game. This was also in a Big Ten game against a Minnesota team that was on a huge winning streak coming into this, and a team that passes the ball extremely well. And guess what? Minnesota had 9 total assists in this game. 9. That's it. And the Hoosiers did a really good job of forcing the Golden Gophers to take tough, contested shots. Nothing came easy. There were a couple of wide open threes that kind of confused us a little bit, but luckily, the Gophers did make us pay. 3 of 20 from downtown, 23 of 59 total, shooting just 39% if we look at some of the team statistics here. Minnesota, 39% from the floor. Indiana, 43%. You had Minnesota, 15% from three. And how about the Hoosiers? 43% from downtown, 6 of 14. And that free throw percentage got to get better. Thank God neither team shot good, right? Not Minnesota shot 54%. Indiana shot 59%. This was a terrible game at the free throw line. Indiana did end up turning it over 10 times. That number was pretty low until later when it got kind of sloppy. Minnesota turned it over 14 times. Indiana does not win the rebounding battle again, though, unfortunately. But second chance points only outscored by 4. Bench points got outscored by 12 if you're Indiana. But the points in the paint, you do win that battle 38-36. So all in all, here's the thing, okay? When you pair the really good defense from Indiana, and again, forcing Minnesota to take tough contested twos, deep NBA range threes, and nothing easy at the rim thanks to Ware, Mgbako, and Reneau. And you pair that with the elite play in the paint, the consistency on the offensive end in the painted area, and you pair that with some made shots from the outside with your tough defense, guess what? You're going to win games, and you're going to win games by double digits, and that's exactly what Indiana did here, winning by 12. That is a winning recipe for this Hoosiers team. You get your big three involved offensively. You get them involved defensively. Hell, even Trey Galloway had a good game defensively for the most part. And this team was forcing turnovers and steals and bad passes and blocking shots at the rim. Like, this was a good defensive effort for the Hoosiers. And that's what created all the offense. And Indiana pushed the ball quite a bit. And what I also liked as we kind of wrap things up here, this Hoosiers team tonight, anyway, did not break. They didn't give up. They didn't fold, right? We saw Minnesota go on an 11-0 run at one point. Indiana was able to fight back. And they had a double-digit lead the entire second half. And Minnesota made their runs, sure, especially late when it got sloppy, got kind of complacent, did this Indiana team. But they never just folded. They never just gave in and let Minnesota make this a true ball game. And that's what I really liked to see. We had talked about Minnesota and their lack of strength of schedule. It was pretty bad, and I think you could see why. But Indiana, abused their size. They took advantage of their size. They knocked down some shots, and they played really good defense. Things we talked about in the preview episode, they came in and they did in this game. And look what happens. You win games. You win on your home floor, which again, the Hoosiers played much better on your home floor tonight than they did or how they play on the road. And all of those are kind of my likes and dislikes here. I like the defense. I liked the shot making. I like the shot creating with 17 assists. Come on, talk to me a little bit, right? That's fantastic for this Hoosiers team. Dislikes, free throw shooting, got to get better. That's going to come back to bite us, and you know where, in big games coming up. I would like to see us win the rebounding battle. It's kind of unacceptable to me that we're not winning that, but whatever. I guess we're still kind of winning games when that doesn't happen. And Indiana still got to get better guard play, man. Getting 12 points out of your three main guards of Trey Galloway, Gabe Cupps, and Xavier Johnson, getting 12 total points out of them, that's not good enough for me. That's not good enough. Galloway had a fine game. Gabe Cupps is a liability on offense. Xavier Johnson's got to be better, or somebody else has got to figure it out. So very few dislikes here. And overall, Indiana gets a nice win. 4-2 now in Big Ten play. And we all know what's coming up. It's Purdue on Tuesday. We will have all sorts of content for you here on the channel. Starting on Monday, we'll have kind of a look ahead into the schedule, into the week. Tuesday, we'll have a preview episode. Wednesday, or I guess Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, depending if you're on video and audio, we'll have a reaction show for that. Also, Andy Patton from Locked On Zags and Locked On College Basketball will be joining us coming up next week as well. So be sure you stay tuned for that. We'll have a whole lot more here on Locked On Hoosiers. I appreciate you being an everydayer. Thank you so much for being on the show, being a part of the show as well. Follow us on X at Locked On Hoosiers. Subscribe to the channel if you're on YouTube. Like the video. That helps us out more than you even know. And you can subscribe on your audio platforms as well. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast. Indiana wins 74-62. Isn't winning just more fun? Let's do this again on Tuesday against the #1 team in the country, shall we? Until Monday, Hoosier fans, as always, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.